Welcome to What If Deku Was Abandoned. Check the author out and like and sub. Quirk, Medusa. He has the ability to turn anyone into stone by looking into their eyes. Works on animals. Snakes bend to his will and will aid him. Can turn things or stone back to normal by biting them with his fangs. Can only be killed by getting his head chopped off. Very specific for some reason it is not like I am writing this. He is buff from living in the woods. He has small snake mode. Can become a lamia. Also has a full snake form. Rarely uses it. Personality. He is cocky for a reason. He beat everything that lived in the forest, that includes cork bears. He is arrogant, and that is because he can't get killed. He can become cold if he is pushed. He shows happiness when he gets what he wants. Also, he is not that smart due to being in the woods and lacking education. Likes fighting, eating snakes, his serrated swords. Dislikes. He hates people for what his parents did to him. The cold. Child abusers, who doesn't? Cold food. People who try to take his land. He only wears shorts made from bear hide and wears a mask he was given by his mom when he was abandoned. The eye holes are covered so he doesn't turn people or animals into stone accidentally. The student arrived on the cliffside to take bathroom breaks. Mr. Izawa, where are the restrooms? Mineta asked while Izawa ignored him. Then the wild pussycats come out the car and strike a pose. Wow, more pro heroes. Uraka yelled with star eyes. The wild pussycats are the best rescue team out there due to their teamwork, Toru stated with sparkles around her, making the Twinkle Man jealous. Hey Pixie Bob, looks like we have fans here, let's make sure to give some autographs after this, Ragdoll says while the class stares in awe. Okay, maybe, alright, let's get down to business, Mandalay said as she pointed at the camp location. You all are going to run the rest of the way there? That far? Are you serious? Denki and Mineta yelled. You are all training to be heroes, so this is just extra training for that, Pixie Bob said with a smile as she placed her hands on the floor. I just hope you survive the fall. Fall? Everyone thought. Everyone to the bus, hurry before it is too late. Mina and Sero yelled as the ground split apart into the cliff, making them fall. Wee-eye. The class yelled after being dropped off a cliff. Why can't we have a normal trip without any tricks? Mina said. The class. You have 4 hours to make it to the camp or you are not eating, Mandalay yelled to the rest of the students at the bottom of the cliff while Izawa was sleeping in his bag on the bus. Shut up you extras, let go, we can fucking eat, Bakugo yelled at his classmate. I need to go to the restroom, Mineta screeched. He went to the bush to do the dirty, sees the earth monster. I don't need to go anymore. Bakugo blasts his way up and destroys it while the rest of the class power up and team up to take the beast down. While a certain duo were working together to capture the beast by paralyzing it, then realizing the basics of Pokémon ground is not affected by electric type moves. So they both use the other's purple balls to stick it to the ground. They hear rustle in the bushes, thinking it is their classmates walking up to the noise. Hi, anybody there? Denki asked nervously. Then both see a guy that is about 5 feet 5 inches with dark green hair with a mask that has a smiling face on it while wearing brown hide shorts with sandals and having 2 serrated blades in his hands. They looked at each other and ran to the group while yelling a message out loud. Fuck this shit, I'm out. They hear behind them, get back here you trespassers, I am going to beat your asses up. They try to make it to the group and pass a monster. The guy gets distracted while they keep running, breathing hard through their noses trying to get to their friends. Mineta trips on a root. Denki pulled a bro move, picks him up and puts him on his back while still running. Denki, who is he? Because he is still chasing us, Mineta wails. I don't know, he is not from our class, that is for sure, Denki says as he gets closer to the group, crashing into Bakugo. The fuck are you doing, dunce face and small Freya? Bakugo yells at them. There is a masked person in the woods, Mineta yelled. Masked person, they all thought. Gah. The smiling masked man appeared, throwing an earth monster head at them. The class hears the roar and stands up to fight. Oi extras, get up, we have to fight this fucktard. Bakugo says with malice Bakugo language, this unfitting of a UA student. Ida single hand chops at him due to losing function on his left arm and not wanting surgery for his mistakes. Who are you people, why are you here, the man says as he raised his blades. You know what, I don't care, I gonna kick all your asses trespassers, he says as he runs at them full force while wielding his blades as the man came at them screaming like a wild animal with serrated blades aimed at Uraka to cut her down. First seeing that she was open, Kirishima acted fast by getting hard, becoming a little human shield, breaking the blades. You bastard, you're fucked, First Smiles said as threw his broken blades at him. Those were my only set. He ran towards Kirishima, grabbed his face and slammed the back of his head into a tree, making stuck as Ojiro hit him with his tail, making him slam into the floor. He got up and was kicked into a tree. Stop this right now, villain, Ida yelled at masked fellow. As a student of UA, I shall not let you attack another person. How the hell are you on about? You all are attacking me too, he masked man exclaimed. This is a fight, so that means we have to attack each other. So shut the up and fight. He threw a rock at Ida that he dodged, only for tape to wrap his arm, so he pulled the tape man closer. Get over here, he said as he clotheslined him, his arm knocking him out. A man with 6 arms came behind him and gave him bear hug, so he used the back of his head to backhead his face, making Octoman drop him. So he used the tape to wrap his eyes and slammed his head to the ground. Ojiro came at him with his tail, so he jumped over it, kicking him the jaw, making him go limp. The masked man laughed at his handiwork while ducking a laser, so he ran on all fours, got behind in a chokehold, knocking him out. Sato came at him throwing a fury of punches. He dodged all of them and wrapped around Sato's arm while him fury of punches to Sato's face, putting him down for the count. He went towards the floaty girl that threw boulders at him, so he kicked them, breaking right through them. Then kicking her the gut, making her lose her lunch, making her unable to fight. Tsuyu tried to kick him, but is pulled, hugged and told her you smell like prey. Her view of the man changed into snake. Her primal fears went on high alert, making her want to run. He let her go only so she could run. Ha ha, I am amazing, aren't I? He gloated. I am the best. Ha ha ha. He has a bigger ego than Bakugo, the class thought. Check this, he said as he twisted his body 360 as he laughed. I am the best. The class that was still up were disgusted, while some were impressed by how flexible he is. He just jumps and yells, are you even trying, which made them mad, especially a certain blonde character. Tha fuck dja say you Walmart might bitch, Bakugo said while using his quirk. I am going to beat your ass like a Cherokee drum. He blasted toward him, trying to blast him, only for the masked individual to catch his right arm and judo flipped him, and Bakugo got up and started blasting while the masked dodged and parried the blows. A lot of dust was thrown into the air while they fought, making everyone cover their eyes except Momo, that made googles and aimed a cannon at the man. She tapped Shoto's shoulder, make sure to get him separated from Bakugo, she told him. Shoto waited for an opening till he saw Bakugo him away, so he made a wall of ice between them. Momo shot the cannon, hitting the man in the ribs, making them hear a multiple loud cracks. The man got back up, went towards Shoto, kicked him the head, then kicked with his other leg in the chest, knocking him into a tree, putting him down for the fight. Then crouched down while dodging Urjax and caught them, then pulled. Get over here, he said as he headbutted her in the head, knocking her out. Momo shot another ball that he caught and threw back, destroying the cannon. Then grabbed her by the waist and shook her up and down. Come on, make weapons. He shook harder. Come on. He gave up and tossed her onto a purple man, knocking them both out. He huffs in satisfaction, then stuck out his arm and felt something squishy. What the hell is this? He kept squishing, then felt a slap. Pee-pee pervert, Toru yelled. He felt bad for his action. Sorry, I didn't see you there, he said, and walked away from her, leaving her alone while she put on her cloths. Then was punched and kicked by an unstuck rock man and Sonic rip off to the floor. Stay down, villain, Ida yelled. He heard laughing as the man stood up. Now we are talking, he yelled as he jumped up and down. Ida went to kick him again. The masked man ducked and punched where the sun doesn't shine. You're open, he while laughing. Kirishima went to punch him with his hard fist, was headbutted by the man and went down due to it. Tokoyami and Koda tried to restrain him, but Koda was knocked out by a kick and Dark Shadow / Tokoyami don't get close because they see his image turn into a snake, so he knocked him out too. Mina, Denki and Bakugo were left to fight while the rest class are having a hard time getting up. Bakugo rushes him. Take this, you piece of shit. He use an explosion on the masked man's face and blows it off. His eye widened to see the man covering his eyes, and he had green hair while having freckles shaped like a diamond. One person came to him that matched his description. Deku. Bakugo dropped his fighting stance to look at him. Bakugo, what are you doing? Are you not fighting? Mina yelled. He didn't listen. He looked like he has seen a ghost. Is that you, Deku? Please tell me it's you, I yelled. My name is not Deku, boy yelled at him. Oi, my name is not Deku. Everybody that is not knocked out. It's Izuku Midoriya. The now named Izuku stated, and don't you dare forget it. It is you, Bakugo yelled with teary eyes daring to leak. Don't you remember who I am? It's me, Kachan. Izuku puts on his mask and starts to hit the top of his head with both of his hands. Where have I heard that name before? He starts to aggressively hit his head till he just stopped moving, becoming very still. Are you good, dude? Denki asked. He stood still for a bit, for a few more moments before he collapsed, barely breathing. The students that were still awake looked at their fallen opponent with shock as the boy's body began to twitch. The fight was over, finally over. They won, but with dumb luck. Deku, you fucking idiot. Are you okay? Bakugo screamed at the fallen boy. The camp doors open, revealing Ragdoll with food. Hi there, little kitten, sorry for being late on the food. The green heroine said it took a little longer to make than we though. What the fuck happened here? Deku needs help, Bakugo shouted to the teachers. How does he know him? I knew that we should come out when we first heard the explosions, Aizawa sighed. Izuku's head. Kachan. Let's go and play. Yeah, let's go, Deku. I saw a small blonde boy with a crossed out face looking in my direction. We played on the playground. Till it all faded. Who am I again? How did I get in the forest? Why can't I remember anymore? Why am still fighting? I know I need to be the strongest so no one can hurt me again. But who hurt me anyways? I can't remember. All I have is a couple faded memories and my name. Outside his head. Does anybody mind telling why there is a deranged kid your age? Asleep from a self-inflicted concussion. Also, how the hell did he beat all of you? Aizawa asked his class that were getting patched up from the beating. He came out of nowhere. He has a strong ass quirk. He touched my boob. He can fight really good. Shoot up, you damn extras. They all look at Bakugo, who was standing in front of his body. His name is Izuku Midoriya and he is my childhood friend that went missing at the age of 4 along with his entire family. Bakugo tells them. You had a friend? Sero asked. Of course I had a friend, you knock off Spider-Man, Bakugo yells. That solves who he is now. The second question is, how long has he been here? He was able to fight all of you, meaning that he was self-trained, Mandalay said as she used her lap as a pillow for him. She takes off his mask to see what it is made of. Give me that. Bakugo yelled. She hands him the mask. This was Andy's mask. She used this to play hero with us. Why is here and where is Auntie? Bakugo says as he put on the mask. Oh my fucking god, ha 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 ha. Deku, you damn nerd, you have gotten stronger, Bakugo said in a calm tone. Teach put on the mask, and what do you see? He tossed the mask to him. He puts it on. This kid is one of kind. What can see? What does the mask do? Does you give more power? Do ladies love you if you wear it? That is something you guys can find out later, but right now I have to make a couple of calls to the school to send some people here, Aizawa said. He just walked off, tossing back the mask to Bakugo. Tsuyu walks over to him, ignoring her animal instincts to run. What quirks did his parents have? She asked Bakugo. I don't know, they kept that a secret and told me that once his quirk came they would tell me, Bakugo told her. How close were you two? Ributsu asked him while he looked at Izuku. We were like brothers, we played together and at one point we lived together for a bit, I said, remembering his past. As long you are there for him you will get him back. Ribatsu stated, rubbing Izuku's hair. Though it doesn't matter now, it seems that he doesn't remember who I am or who he was, I said as I noticed that all of his ribs were snapping back together. Mandalay, get away from him, I yelled as she backed away from him in a battle stance. He opened his eyes, he got up looking around. The memories of the fight and him kicking everyone's ass came back to him. He quickly got rid of his calm face and snapped it into a glare. He put on his mask on properly. Rag, he yelled out, scaring Class 1A as they stared at him. He woke up already, didn't he have a concussion? Kaminari yelled out as the wild boy chased him. Fight me, fight me. The fight ain't over. Izuku screamed in anger as the spark plug ran, complaining why was he the one being chased. He ran around the set's tables before he spotted Kirishima. He screamed in relief as he hid behind him as his knight in shining armor. Kiri, help me, you manly shield. Izuku jumped on the tables, glaring at Kirishima. You bastard. You broke my swords, you owe me new ones, he exclaimed. A tick mark appeared on his forehead. You attacked first while aiming at Uraka. That wasn't very manly. Kirishima responded, but how about you calm down and eat some food, you have to be starving, he said, pointing at the food. Huh, you think that food will make me? Izuku sniffed the air, making his mouth water. What is that godly smell? He said, looking around following it. He quickly ran up to the seat, knocking Mineta to the ground off of his seat. He devoured the bowl of food that the smell was coming from. Hey, that was my bowl of katsudon, Mineta yelled at Izuku. He just turned to him and kicked him away. However, he was suddenly wrapped up in multiple strands of cloth. He tried to tear the cloth off of him, but no matter how he struggled, he couldn't budge. Good grief, you sure are being a pain in the ass, a very tired voice stated, getting the attention of the students. Aizawa looks at the wild boy trying to escape his bindings while growling like an animal. We got a lot of questions for you, problem child, and we'd appreciate it if you came quietly, he said in an exhausted voice. After the shit his students told him about the incident, he just wanted to get through the rest of day. Come on, let's go. As he walked to the campus facility, Izuku let out a muffled roar of rage, launching himself in the air several times as he was dragged. I watched him get dragged away by Aizawa. I sat down and ate my food, not talking to anyone, with Froggy sitting next to me. Hey, you okay? Sero tried to patting my shoulder. You have 5 seconds to get your hand off of me before you lose it along with the elbows, I said, seriously, full of malice. He quickly walked to his seat, leaving me alone. Later, the wild young man thrashed around his seat that he tied to. He was trying to break out of his bones with his sheer strength, with growls of anger erupting from his mouth. Across the table was Aizawa, while the pussycats were behind him, making sure he didn't break out. They looked at him with impassive faces. He has been trying to escape with such ferociously that made integration more difficult. Eventually the green-haired boy calmed down a bit, still growling at the pros. Aizawa sighed in relief. Now then, he began. We'll start with some easy questions. First, is your name Izuku Midoriya? That's King of the Forest, Izuku Midoriya to you. He growled at the man. Thank you for the cooperation. Here, have a treat, Mandalay said in a professional tone. She lifted his mask and put in a hard candy in his mouth that made him stop growling to enjoy it. How did you know that would work? Aizawa asked, surprised. He acts like an animal, so I gave a treat like one. Now he'll cooperate more, Mandalay said, tossing a candy into her mouth too. Plus it's some good ass candy, she said while eating it. Let me ask a question. Why were all of you on my forest, huh? Izuku retorted. You're in my territory and I am not gonna let this slide. Except you, he yelled at Mandalay. You gave me good food. She just nodded. Wait, hold on, your territory? The adults questioned. Tiger spoke up. Are you saying that you've been here in this forest the whole time? What do you think? I lived here my whole life, the wild boy stated, shocking the pros. They would never expect that anybody was in the area, let alone living here. More importantly, how did they never find out they have been using this campsite for years? So you've been all alone here for 12 years? Ragdoll exclaimed. How are you alive? There are quirked bears here along with there being no water for miles. How else? Izuku said. I beat everything here and became king of the forest, duh. Plus how did you think I got these pants? He seemed overjoyed at the claim, but given the fact that he has been here for the past decade made the claim believable. Izuku sighed and stood up. I need to make a couple calls, he said as he went to walk out the room. I gonna leave now too. I have to return to my kingdom, Izuku said, standing up with all the bindings falling off. Izuku and the pussycats looked at him shocked. What? I'm king for a reason, dumbasses, he yelled, busting the door down and leaving, shocking them more. That was a reinforced steel door, Pixie Bob stated, making them look at each other. You may need to call Nezu and some pros just in case. Something tells me he held back when he fought the students, Tiger stated, looking at the foot imprint in the door. Just make sure when he fights that mask doesn't fall off. If it does he will go full strength, Izuku said, pulling out his phone. The sky darkened above the camp, the class readied themselves for the night. Feeling drained of energy from the earlier events. Though they felt like they lost in general from the events. Man. Mina started to say as she and the rest of the class walked down the hall to the hot springs changing room, ready to wash away their stress. Today has been fun, right? We met crazy wild boy that turns out to Bakugo's only friend when he was a kid. She then heard everybody groan from her words. Some were stunned that she still had energy to joke around after they got curb stomped. Mina, look, we appreciate that you are trying to lift the mood, but do we need to remind you that we all got destroyed by the said friend of Bakugo? He took us all on and beat all of us, Ida stated in a tired voice. He showed us that we were lacking as heroes. He has had no training while we did and still lost. Hopefully, the pros will deal with him properly for breaking into our campgrounds, Ida said. Actually, you broke into my territory, Izuku yelled in a loud voice, scaring everybody. They couldn't tell what he was thinking of due to his smile mask covering his face. What do you mean we are in your territory? Kirishima asked, harding his fists. I was here first. I am king of this forest. I have beat everything here, that includes you, shitty hair, Izuku yelled, pointing at him. You haven't beat me, Deku, Bakugo yelled at him, making Izuku turn to him. You're right. I sense that you're stronger than rest here, that means you're a king too, Izuku yelled, getting into a battle stance. What's your name? Izuku yells at Bakugo as he gets in front of the group. I am going to make you remember who I am. King Explosion Murder, Katsuki Bakugo, Bakugo yelled at Izuku as small explosions erupted from his hands. Your name is so cool. King of Forest, Izuku Midoriya, Izuku yelled at him back as they clashed. Holy shit, they're going to fight again, Sero yelled, wrapping Izuku in tape. Big mistake, he pissed him off for getting in the way of his fight. Izuku flexed and tore the tape off of him. He turned his head towards Sero. You are no king and you got in the way of a legendary battle between two kings, Izuku said calmly, scaring everyone there. Look into my eyes, Izuku yelled as he started to lift his mask. Mandalay rushed over along with Tiger. She placed her hand on mask, making sure it stayed on. Tiger lifted him and walked in with him and holding him as he thrashed around. Mandalay said something to his mind and he nodded. She lifted his mask and placed another piece of candy in his mouth. So he calmed down when Tiger took him away. Thank God the pros got him before they fought. Looks like they will take care of him, Ida said in relief. The class except Bakugo let out noises of agreement and relief. Though the pussycats had different plans as the other two members came over. Hey, do you guys mind if we had a small chat? Mandalay stated. The class was a bit confused though still let out sounds of agreement. So Mandalay continued, we have talked about what to do with Izuku and we came to the decision that he will stay with us at camp. What? The students yelled out before they heard grunts and growling behind the door that Tiger was in. They turned to see that the door was being forced open by Izuku. "Son of a, that's another door," Pixie Bob muttered as the rest of the team rushed over to him. "Let me out, I must have my battle," he yelled out. They each grabbed a limb when they reached him. "Oi, let me go. Calm down and I will give you another candy," Mandalay told him before he calmed down. He thought about it then stopped struggling as he held out his hand. She gave him the candy and he quickly ate, turning around so no one could steal it. "Look, we found out that he has been here since for a while. So we were hoping that you would all keep him company till we can find a way to help him," Tiger said, staring at Izuku while he ate the candy. They all looked at him with their eyes, and despite how much they didn't want to admit it, they all except Bakugo held a grudge from getting their asses handed to them by him earlier in the day. Pixie Bob sighed as she made a stern face. "Now Izuku," she started, "you will be with the class for now, so no more fights." Izuku faced her and placed his hand on her head. "You're strong, aren't you?" he asked. She nodded with his hand still on his head. "Plus you stink, so go take a bath," she said. He nodded and left to the hot springs. "Why did he listen?" Tiger asked. "I have a theory he only respects the strong and messes with the weak." In his eyes, Bakugo and Pixie Bob are the only ones worth listening to. "Also he listens to people that benefit him, like me when I give him candy to make him do a command," Mandalay said as stared at him walking away. Hot springs. The girls got into the water feeling the heat that soothed their muscles and washed away the dirt they collected during the day. "This is great compared to what happened to us earlier," Mina stated while taking in the heat. "I must agree, this sure does feel nice," Momo said with a relaxed face. "Though I am not sure we can truly relax because the guy who threw us around like dolls is just right over this wall," Momo said with a concerned face. "He won't anything to us perverted, at least," Hagakure said, shocking them. "How do you know?" Uraka said, shocked. "When we were fighting he accidentally touched my boob. He apologized after and didn't hit me once after as a sorry," she stated. "Really? So you're saying that he is better than Mineta? Wow, a kid that was in the woods for who knows how long respects woman. Now that is a shock," Jiro said while twirling her jack. "Though it makes me wonder how were him and Bakugo friends. He has a bigger ego than Bakugo, which would usually end in constant fighting." Uraka questioned. "Well, it would seem that Midoriya respects him because of his strength. Maybe that's how they were friends," Ributsu said, swimming in the water. They suddenly heard commotion in the other side of the wall with the boys. "Y'all can't make me." That had to be Izuku. "How is he this strong?" Todoroki stated in a tense voice, as if he was struggling to handle something. "Get in the bath, Deku," Bakugo yelled in anger. "Pick him from his legs," Sato yelled out, followed by a yelp of surprise from Izuku and the sound of splashing water. "Boys! You bastards, I will drown all of you!" he screamed out. A towel hit his face. He took it off, revealing that he was wearing a blindfold instead of his mask. "Midoriya, please just take your bath," Mandalay said. "She will give you another candy," Ida lied in an exhausted voice. Izuku took his bath as they all sighed in relief that the lie worked. Mineta, who didn't help at all, looked at the wall. "You know the girls are on that side. All those sexy bods in warm liquid I have to see," he said, drooling a puddle. "Mineta, don't you fucking dare. I am tired of dealing with Midoriya, so cut your shit out," Ida yelled out, tired of the shit he had to gone through today. "Why do you think I didn't help? And made sure that I could go plus ultra," he yelled as he climbed the wall. He reached the top of his goal and out appeared an angry-faced kid with a spiked hat. "And he told me that there was a perv amongst you, so I came here to stop you. You damn mushy grape," he said as he kicked Mineta off the wall with a Spartan kick. "You little piece of shit," Mineta yelled as he hit the ground, knocking himself out. They all looked at him in disappointed except for the crazy one that took his attempt over the wall as a challenge. "My turn," he yelled. He bolted out of the water and ran to the wall. He made contact with it and instantly started to climb the wall, surprising the guys and Kota. It gave him the window to climb the wall so Kota couldn't knock him off. "I win, ha! Take that, you rotten fruit!" the feral teen yelled. While Izuku was taunting Minato, Kota ran to him trying to knock him off, only the both of them to fall backwards. Ah! Kota screamed in terror. Izuku twisted his grabbed him midair, hugging him and flipping into the water on his feet, breaking the fall. The moment he resurfaced with Kota, he asked, "Kid, you good? Because you almost beat me," he said while smiling at him with his blindfold on. Kota hugged him tightly as he was still shook from the fall. He then noticed the girls' presence. What are you guys doing here?" he said, completely confused why they were there. Though the girls didn't answer his question. It would seem that they were distracted by something and were looking at him with red faces. Sue swam up to him and wrapped a towel around his waist with a red face, much to his obliviousness. "Sue, you covered the python," Mina complained. The rest of the girls subtly nodded. Izuku just stood there confused on what to do. Meanwhile, the guys were wondering why the girls weren't freaking out and trying to find ways to get Izuku back over the wall without Aizawa finding out, as he listened in and sighed, face-palming too. The day was gone and it has become nighttime. So the students were sent to bed, so they all went into the gender-separated rooms. Though they were tired, that did not mean they were ready to sleep just yet. That was due to a crazy kid that they had to keep an eye on, though somehow they lost him. "Ha ha, okay kid, you're my new helper," Izuku screamed at Kota, who was looking at him with awe. He saw the camera footage of him beating the so-called heroes into the ground that made him happy. "These weaklings can't teach you jack," he yelled, placing his mask on his face and taking the blindfold off. "True strength is in here," he yelled as he pointed at his head. Izuku promptly slammed his head into a steel-reinforced door, denting it and knocking down. "Now you try," Izuku yelled, pointing at another door. Kota took a running start, and before he slammed his head into the walls, Mandalay snatched him into the air. "No, you are not slamming your head into steel," she yelled as she glared at Izuku. "Hey! I am training him into being my heir to my title," Izuku screamed as Kota nodded with his word. "Look Izuku, he is still kid. He can't be you, and who agreed he is your so-called heir?" she asked as Izuku grabbed Kota. "I did. I am taking him as my own," he yelled as Kota looked at him with star eyes. "Your own," she yelled out. "Yep, he is mine now," he said, walking away with Kota. "Hold, I am his guardian, so I am in charge of looking after him," Mandalay said, trying to get a hold of the situation. "So, he is perfect for my title," he said as Pixie Bob came behind and grabbed Kota away. "Hey," he yelled, "go to sleep and in the morning we will talk," she said in a stern voice. "Fine, but he will be my heir," he said, walking to the boys' room. "Hey, where is my spot?" They heard him yell and saw Minato get thrown out the door. "This my spot now." They walked away with Kota while he pouted. "Kota, why do you want to be with him?" Mandalay asked. "He is strong, very strong. He can beat those hero into paste, so I have to be just like him," he said, star-eyed. She face-palmed Kota. "What if he became a hero?" she asked him. "I will be just like him. He can show the way to be a real hero, one that takes out the bad guys," he stated. She "No, let him be, it could be helpful," Pixie Bob said as she saw Kota run to his room with the blindfold. "I know, but he got attached so fast and I am afraid of losing him," she said, sighing. "This could reignite his will to be a hero," Pixie Bob said. "You know, I'm surprised that you didn't jump on him when you met him," Mandalay said, chuckling. "Trust me, it is taking me a lot of restraint. I mean his body and what the girls said in the bath," Pixie Bob said with a red leaking from her nose. "I was joking, though I see the appeal," Mandalay said as Ragdoll chimed in. "If he became less crazy, then we'll talk." Meanwhile, Aizawa let out a sigh before taking out his phone and read the message from Nezu. It would seem that his work will likely double within a day. The next day, in the bright early morning, Class 1A were training their asses off with their regiment that the Pussycats provided. Aizawa was making sure that they were doing their absolute hardest and to make sure that their quirks got stronger. Though there was a wild Izuku running around making everyone's training harder. Sue was getting faster at climbing a mountain till a green blur sped past her, making it to the top at incredible speeds. "Ha ha ha ha. "Take that prey," Izuku yelled at the top, pointing at her and laughing. He had the same clothes as yesterday. His bearskin pants, sandals, and his smiling mask. The day before he manhandled the 19 most promising heroes of Japan. "Midoriya, calm your shit already." Jiro scoffed. Her and the others were at the bottom of the mountain. They all witnessed how fast he was. He jumped out the mountain, scaring them all till he landed, cracking the ground like nothing, and walked away from it. "Manly," Kirishima yelled. "He is wearing sandals, how did he crack the ground with no damage?" Mina whispered to Jiro while she just shrugged and continued to train. He walked up to Bakugo, making them all stop to look at them. "You owe me a fight." "Oh really? I thought you chickened out, Deku." "Who you calling chicken? I am gonna kick your ass." "Say less." They both started to brawl, slamming each other into the ground and sending the other flying back. While everyone stared at both of them going head to head, that is definitely Bakugo's childhood friend. No one else would willingly fight him if they were sane, Sero said while the rest nodded. "Though that makes me wonder more who is stronger, Garo," Sue said as Mineta tried to grab her butt, till a rock hit him square in the face. They looked to see Izuku was the one that chucked the rock. "Don't try it, grapefruit. That is my prey," Izuku yelled, flipping backwards, dodging Aizawa's scarf. "Stop fighting my students or I will lock you up in the holding room," he yelled as Izuku just laughed that a room can't hold the king of the forest. He yelled, releasing killer intent stronger than that of Stain. Ida felt it the most, looking at his no longer functioning arm. He instantly broke out of it as he has felt the feeling before. "Recipro burst," he yelled as he charged Izuku as his top speed. He went for a high kick towards Izuku's head. "Ida, stop," Aizawa yelled as Izuku merely turned his head. "A challenger?" he said, leaning back, dodging his kick. "No, just a small fry," he said, uninterested in the fight. Izuku just kicked out Ida's other foot that was still planted on the ground, making him fall on his ass. "You're no fun," he stated, walking towards the forest. They looked at him shocked. He dodged Ida at his top speed. "This kid really is something," Aizawa said to himself as Bakugo heard him and nodded. "Where are they?" "They were here yesterday," he screamed as he dug through the dirt for his broken blades. He found them in a bush nearby after 30 more minutes of searching. He picked them up and tried to use them like he would on a bear on a tree. He breathes in as his muscles expand and get into a stance for fighting. "Fifth Fang, crazy cutting," he yelled as his blades connected with the wood, breaking them more. "No good, these can't be used to fight anymore," he said, looking at his broken swords. He looked to the left and saw the cannon. He remembered the weapon girl making it. He looked at his blades, then at the cannon, then back at the blades. He then connected the duds in his head and put the swords on his waist. He sped off back to the campsite. "You, weapon girl," he shouted at Yaoyorozu. "I have a name, you know." "It's Momo," she said, not looking at his abs. "Okay, Mumu. Make me new ones," he demanded, the spiral-haired girl tossing his broken blades at her feet. She picked up and inspected the blades. Nichiren blades. How rare to see nowadays. "I don't have the energy to make them, so no." Izuku looked at her, then picked her up by the waist. "Yep," she screamed. He then shook her up and down again like the day before, really fast, making her dizzy. Fine. I'll make them," Momo yelled as he placed her down. "Okay, Mumu, do it," he demanded. Her skin started to sparkle and 2 new blades came out, but not to his liking. She handed him the blades and she fell to the ground tired. Izuku bent down and her a candy bar that he definitely didn't steal from Mandalay. Cut to her. "Where is my favorite candy bar?" she yelled as she flipped her couch over, making Ragdoll hit the floor. "Hey, I found a penny," Ragdoll yelled in excitement. Kota just looked at the cameras watching Izuku. Cut back to the class. He gave her a hug, making her blush, and he grabbed his old blade, sticking them to ground. "Aren't you going to say thank you, Garo?" Sue suggested as he searched through a pile of rocks. "What is he doing?" Aizawa, Sue and Momo thought. Izuku picked up a perfect rock and bashed the sword repeatedly, startling everyone around him. "Are you fucking serious?" That took the rest of my energy to make, Momo yelled, losing it. She tried to dive at him only for her to get stuck. She looked behind her and saw Izuku's former blades pinning her cloths to the ground. That wasn't a hug. He planned on me getting mad and it worked. She thought, getting more pissed off that she got read like a book. Better, Izuku said as he picked up his 2 new serrated blades. Momo tore her shirt off that was pinning her to the ground. I am going to fuck you up, Momo roared, pinning Izuku to the ground. Izuku just sat up, overpowering her. No, you won't, get stronger and then we'll talk, he semi-yelled. As Momo looked at him walking to the trees. They all looked at him weirdly because he had become silent, looking at his blades. Then were shocked when his muscles expanded in size and made a sound of inhaling a lot of air. 5th Fang, crazy cutting. In an instant all the trees around him were cut to bits. All of their jaws hit the floor where they stood except for Bakugo, who was grinning like a madman. The shock turned to fear because if they pissed him off enough they would be replacements for the trees that he cut down. It wasn't a quirk. I swear that I used my quirk on him. Aizawa mentally screamed. These blades are amazing. Thank Mumu, Izuku yelled as he started yelling how he was the best. Momo's face turned red from the compliment. Izuku stopped yelling as us cars pulled along with the bus. They all heard Izuku take a deep breath as his muscles expanded again. Deku, don't you dare! Bakugo yelled as Izuku listened to his natural instinct that his turf was being invaded, meaning he had to fight. He dashed towards the car with his new blades ready to die. You're an immaturf shiny beast, he screamed. Here I come. He ran at them. 2nd Fang, RIPN tier. He then sliced the car in a downward X formation. The people in the car get out as he sliced through it like butter. He felt a semi-truck hit him in the stomach after hearing I am here. He got sent flying back, landing on his feet with excitement for a fight. The students that were there, all grinned as they saw the #1 hero there. Fuck yeah, All Might is here, Mineta yelled in excitement, only for Izuku to kick him away for being happy. Small fry. The people in the other car and bus opened to reveal some more people. Out came the staff of UA Power Loader, Present Mike, Midnight and Vlad King. This made the students cheer louder as Izuku eyed them all down. From the car, Detective Naomasa stepped out, looking over at the students as Class 1B came out the bus. The hell is going on? First that car is sliced in half, then most of the staff is here? Vlad King asked in confusion. Eraserhead called me saying that we could solve a cold case from 12 years ago. Naomasa explained as his eyes shifted to Izuku, that being held down by Bakugo stopping him from fighting. Well, that is all. Vlad King started till he was interrupted by loud laughter. Behind them. Ha 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 ha, your name is Eraserhead. WHO thought that was a good name, Izuku exclaimed with his blindfold on with a massive grin. When did he swap his mask? They thought as Kota snuck away with the mask. Some tears were coming out where his eyes were located. While Present Mike was hurt, thinking I thought it was a good name, he silently cried as Midnight patted his back. The students look at him mad except for Bakugo and Sue, thinking the same. Well, he ain't wrong, he could have had a better name. Midoriya, show at least a smidge of respect, he's our teacher, Ida yelled, but the wild boy kept laughing. The hell is a teacher? Izuku thought as he kept laughing, much to everyone's annoyance. The scruffy hero just ignored him. Look, he is a bit uncivilized due to living here, so don't mind him too much, the tired hero said as Nezu walked up. Looks like the little fella has been a bit of trouble? He asked. You have no idea. Oh, pray, I was getting hungry, Izuku said, looking at Nezu licking his lips. Nezu's vision of Izuku changed from a buff teenager with green hair to a giant green snake that was ready to devour him. The same could be said about Sue and Tokoyami, they were visibly shaking. Aizawa, I will give you a raise as long you protect me from him, Nezu yelled, scurrying away on all fours. Izuku took that as a challenge, running straight towards Nezu on all fours too. Come back here, you mouse, Izuku yelled as Aizawa picked up Nezu and placed him in his scarf. All Might choked, slammed Izuku into the ground. All Might, you dumbass, that was too much force on the kid, Aizawa yelled. Izuku turned his head to All Might. "Ya wanna fight too, huh? You're strong, but ya getting weaker by the second." Izuku yelled, confusing everyone there except the ones that knows his secret, shocking them. How about you listen and I will give the fight you want so badly, deal?" All Might said, negotiating with Izuku by speaking his language. "Ya got yourself a deal, yellow man," he yelled as he got up as All Might just chuckled. Mandalay came out to see Yaozu eating her candy bar. She was about to rage out only to stop herself. "I know she didn't take it, but who gave to her?" "Izuku didn't. He doesn't like to share." "Then who?" she thought as she looked at Pixie Bob. Izuku ran up to her and she just tossed him a hard candy. He ate it, making sure no one could take it. "He is cute when he is eating," she thought as she gave him another candy. "Okay, Mike, Midnight and Power Loader help Izuku control the students and help with their training. We will ask the kids some questions." "Understood, Detective," Midnight said as they led the crazy teen into the building. Izuku looked at them as they led Izuku into the building. "Hope they have fun with him," he thought as he petted Nezu, calming him down. Integration room. "God damn it. I'm just doing the same thing like yesterday," the angry teen yelled as All Might tried to calm him. "Quit talking to me, old man. This is bullshit." "Old? I know I'm old now, but you don't have to say it." All Might felt hurt when talking about his age from the wild teen. "Look, Midori," Namasa starts only to get interrupted. "That's Lord Izuku Midoriya, King of the Forest," Izuku exclaimed in a proud voice with a large smile. "Okay?" the detective said, raising an eyebrow. "Well, do you know why we're brought into this forest?" This caught Izuku's attention. "Do you have anything about your parents, your mother or father?" He was caught off guard from the questions, his face turned into a snarl. "Why do I care about that? As far as I know, I don't have parents. The last thing I remember is falling off a cliff, and that's it." "Wait, you have no memory from before coming to this forest?" he asked, concerned he lost his memories from falling off the cliff. "Midoriya, we have little information about your family as it is. All we have is this video of them speeding down the same road, a family photo, and some blood samples from the crime scene." "What do you mean?" Izuku said quietly, shocking them a bit. "We also found footprints leading somewhere, then disappeared with a massive indent on the ground showing a struggle. Though it may be right, we don't for sure, but they might have been killed and had their bodies taken," Namasa said as Izuku for the first time in his life felt unsure. "Killed? You had parents, they were just being chased by someone. So they hid you in this forest for a reason, Midoriya. For your safety you were forgotten," Namasa said with his head down while Izuku processed what he was told. "Killed?" he said again. Mandalay walked in and led Izuku out as they reviewed the evidence. "I know it's tough to believe, but Izuku, just try to think about it," she said in a sincere tone as he just nodded and left to the outside. He exited the building, dragging his feet along the floor, thinking about what he couldn't remember. He felt that he was missing a part of himself. "Are you okay, Garo?" the prey asked him. "Don't mind me, prey," he said in a low voice. The hell happened? He was energetic a couple moments ago. Sue thought to herself as she noticed that she wasn't afraid of him at the moment. "So that is the wimp that Class 1 scum lost to," a blonde douchebag said, laughing. This made the class look at him angrily, except for Bakugo, thinking, "I can't take him." Suddenly they felt a large amount of furious rage coming from somewhere. Some turned to see the green-haired with his head lowered walking to them. They felt waves of pure fury as the young teen let out a growl. What did you call me?" he said in a menacing voice. This caught off Manama, seeing and feeling the rage in the other teen aimed at him. Though he quickly regained his arrogant persona. "Isn't weird that the best supposed students of Japan got beaten by a weakling like you. Only that you can't handle yourself," he said with a massive smug grin. Kirishima was about to shut him up, only for Bakugo to stop him. "Let him keep talking," he whispered to him, and Kirishima nodded. "You're a savage that lived with dirty animals. Your parents probably were drug addicts that left you in this forsaken forest. I can't believe a weakling like you. He was cut off by a kick to the throat, knocking him to the floor. Izuku stood there with his foot still. Up from the blow he dealt to Minami. Ha ha ha, good one, now hit him again, Deku. Katsuki laughed. Minami got up, holding his neck. You dare call me weak? Izuku yelled with scrunching up into a scowl. That is why I am going to make you taste dirt. Minami gritted his teeth, whipping the dirt off of him. Okay, tough guy, you want to fight, he said, getting 5 feet near Izuku. Izuku charged him, doing a mid-air spinning kick. Minami ducked under and Izuku twisted his spine 360 and slammed his fist into Minami's head, making his face slam into the ground. Minami gets up and rams his head into Izuku's bottom jaw. He then grabbed Izuku's arm and judo flipped him. Now I have your quirk, you damn savage. He screamed at Izuku as he tried to activate it, only for it not to work. The hell, why can't I use your quirk? He said, confused. You can't use a king's power that you don't deserve. Izuku yelled. What is his quirk anyways? Mina asked as Jiro shrugged. All I have seen him do is be super flexible with his spine. Izuku leaned back and slammed his head into Minami's forehead, making him eat dirt again. He was about to leave to the forest till a fist smashed him into a multiple trees in a row, breaking them. Detroit smash. All Might yelled as Izuku went flying. Sir, that was too hard, Kero. Sue screamed as Bakugo full-powered blasted All Might. Don't you dare try and hurt my best friend, bitch Might, Katsuki yelled as All Might stared at him. Young Bakugo, you have any idea what you just have done? You attacked a teacher. All Might in a serious tone. Like I give a shit, you punched Deku through multiple trees, you might have killed him. Not all of us can take building to the face like you, Katsuki yelled as a tree flew from the forest, smashed into All Might. They all look where it came from, and Izuku exited the forest all bloody with multiple bones sticking out of him due to the amount of trees he was punched through. That was a cheap move to interfere with my fight, he said as more blood spilled. Suddenly all of his bones retracted into his body and his wounds closed. That's enough, Ibara yelled, trying to hem her vines. Izuku just swiped his blades, not even using a breathing technique, slicing the vines to bit. Slicing her cheek a bit. Class 1B charged him. Bring it on, you're all weaker than them anyways, he yelled, embarrassing Class 1A. Aizawa came out and turned off all of their quirks. All Might went to punch Izuku again, only for him to get wrapped up in a long tail that was covered in green scales. Looks like that is Deku's quirk, Katsuki said, looking in awe of Izuku's new form. He was half snake, half human. Lamia. That's why I was afraid of him. He is a little snake ribbit, Sue exclaimed as Tokoyami nodded in fear. Izuku yanked of his blindfold and stared directly into All Might's eyes, turned him into stone. You made use my least favorite move because it is too easy to use in a fight. Oh shit, he just turned All Might into stone, Sero yelled as Izuku was shot in the arm. Izuku unwrapped from All Might and saw all the pros aiming at him with their quirks aimed at him. Stand down, Midoriya, Nemasa said, aiming his gun at the boy. Izuku looked at them with maniacal grin, showing his fangs, not looking them in the eyes. I can take you all on, so don't think I will go easy, he said, releasing killer's intent. What he said? The both of us can take you all on, Katsuki yelled with his palms glowing and popping. Bakugo, you know that you are going against pros and your teachers, Aizawa yelled at him. I don't care. All Might almost killed Deku by sending him flying into multiple trees. So I don't care because you guys are in the wrong, Katsuki yelled as Izuku took out his blades. Nemasa shot Bakugo in the thigh and shot Izuku 4 times in the chest. I don't care if he is your friend, he killed the #1 hero, Nemasa yelled as Bakugo screamed in pain while still standing on his feet, putting up his arms up to protect Izuku. Yo, you think a toy like that see and stop me? The class looked in horror as they saw their classmate shot along with the kid that fought the heroes in self-defense. The hell are you doing? They're just kids, Nemasa. You didn't even ask if Midoriya could reverse it, Aizawa yelled as Nemasa turned to stone. After all, Izuku didn't like being shot, so he turned him to stone. The bullets popped out his body as it healed. He looked at Bakugo in pain. Kachan? He thought as that was his name he could only think of. He summoned a snake and wrapped it around his leg. Hold still, she will heal you, he told him as Bakugo's open wound closed with the bullet popping out as well. Midoriya, can you reverse the process of them being turned to stone? Setsuna yelled at him as she touched his shoulder, being braver than the rest of her class. Of course I can. I can do anything, he boasted as the teachers sighed in relief. Then turn them back, Mandalay said, coming out of the building with the pussycats. No. Why should I? The yellow one broke my bones and the other shot me with his black metal thingy, he yelled. How about this? We can negotiate this, Mandalay said, trying to change his mind as Kota came out and the classes got a message from her to stand down. Then speak. What can you give me? He said in serious tone. I think you know what I want. Mandalay looked at Aizawa and he nodded, because they need the symbol of peace for the nation's survival. I will let Kota be your heir for your title, she said as Izuku's grin grew wider. Kota walked out with the mask and tossed it to Izuku. He caught it and placed it on his face, limiting himself again. That all you needed to say? Don't worry, you can live with him, but he stays with me, the wild teen said, pointing his own chest as she nodded. The class stood in shock that Izuku wanted the kid to be his heir. Izuku's lower half returned to his human legs, his feet firmly planted to the ground as the rest of the pros looked at him with content. Midoriya, turn them back and Kota can be your heir for your title, Aizawa said, walking up to him with his hand out. Is that a deal? A fucking course. I would be stupid to deny this, Izuku yelled, grabbing Aizawa's hand and shaking it super fast that Aizawa felt his arm was going to be ripped off. Kota, you are now my disciple. First I will teach you my breathing techniques, Izuku yelled, picking up Kota and spinning him in the air. First, you will turn them back to people instead of stone, Pixie Bob said, grabbing his entire mask. Okay ya cat, I will, Izuku said with scowl. Izuku put down Kota, much to his disappointment, though he was then picked up by his aunt. He looked at her, then at Izuku, and got an idea. Izuku walked to Naomasa, took his gun and threw it into the forest. He took off his mask bearing his fangs and bit down, piercing the stone. Slowly the coloration of Detective Naomasa came back as he gained his conscience back. Izuku kneed him in the groin. That what you get for shootin' me, he screamed as the detective went down and all the guys shivered, feeling the pain he inflicted. He to All Might and did the same to turn him back to human instead of stone. Looked like they were stoned, Kaminari said, only for the sound of crickets, then silence because Sue ate the crickets. Jiro just face-palmed and ear-raped him. Deku, ya good, I know I was shot, but you were shot more, Katsuki said while the snake wrapping his leg that was shot returned to Izuku. I am the king here. Like that toy can hurt me. I am the best, he yelled while doing a stance. Sue walked up to him and tapped his shoulder with her finger, making him fall to the side. Midoriya, you are pushing yourself, she yelled at him while he was on the ground. Shoot up, Bray, I will eat you for dinner, he yelled at her. Sue looked at him with narrowed eyes. Midoriya, you are in no condition to move due to a lack of food and energy. That is your drawback for all of your abilities, Karo, she said as Bakugo picked him up. Fucking Deku, always making me carry you around, he said, carrying him to the bench. So the crazy wild boy can beat the #1 hero? Setsuna said while her class stayed silent. Maybe if we are nice enough he won't make us statues. Shroom, Kinoko yelled with multiple mushrooms sticking out of her. Still though, hyper regeneration with his snake abilities along with his eyes turning people to stone? Hold on, anybody, he looked at all us. How did we not get turned to stone? Momo yelled while the whole class stammered for answers. That is because of the mask, it makes sure he can't see, Bakugo yelled at them, making them shut up. They looked at him with shock. He beat them with no sight or using his quirk abilities. We lost to a blind guy that didn't use his quirk on us, Mineta yelled with bloody tears. My dad has been training and abusing me for my entire life and I lose to a blind dumbass that doesn't like to use his quirk, Shoto shouted with his flames erupting from his left side in a rage-filled fit. This is so embarrassing. We lost to someone without proper training and he wasn't trying, Momo yelled while they all looked down. Haha, Class 1 scum lost to a joke of a person, Manama laughed till a rock hit his forehead making him shut up courtesy of Izuku. You just lost to him as well, idiot, Kabura said shaking his head. He went too far. How can you keep a monster like him here? Vlad King yelled as he looked at his injured students that he deeply cared for. Izuku looked at him like he was going to strangle him to death. I am not a monster, he shouted with fury. Izuku's body began to transform again, then it shrunk to the size of Bakugo's palm. The fuck, Deku? He yelled as he held him. Fuck. I don't have enough energy to transform into my bigger form. Shit. Tiny snake / Lamia, Izuku yelled with his voice being a more squeaky. Vlad, I don't think that you can call that a monster anymore. He is more like a plushie now, Aizawa said with a shit-eating grin. The classes looked at the smaller Izuku with star eyes for revenge for the shit that he made them go through. Aw, the crazy Cabbage Patch is fun-sized, Jiro yelled picking him up with her jack. Let me go, purple hair, he yelled squirming around in the air while being wrapped in her jack. At least he didn't mention my chest, she thought as Kota hopped up and grabbed him. Don't worry, I got you, he yelled running to his aunt as the others chased him to get Izuku. Kota, take a deep breath and regulate it to your body so you can use your muscles better, Izuku yelled. Kota listened to the advice and followed them exactly. He sped up significantly, dodging all of them and hopped to his auntie's arms. Alright Kota. You're a natural like me. You're going to be the best successor, Izuku yelled while Kota had star eyes from the compliment he got. Deku, the hell are breathing techniques? Bakugo yelled with his demon eyes coming out. Breathing what now? Kaminari said, confused how they got outran by a kid. No wonder why you weaklings lost to me. Izuku scoffed while on top of Mandalay's head in his small Lamia form. Then what is it, Midoriya? Momo yelled. It is state where users inhale the maximum amount of oxygen within a specific breath patterns to raise their physical and mental strength to the max of their body can output. I've gained top-tier senses due to me fighting blind since my time in this forest. He explained in calm fashion, making for once actually sound smart. What? Mineta suddenly fell over coughing loudly. Why couldn't I do it like the stupid kid? He screamed. He is better than you, plain and simple. He will be my disciple because he is natural-born genius like me, Izuku yelled patting his head. Young Midoriya, you ever turn anyone to stone again you will go to jail. All Might said to Izuku, like you can do anything, old man. I am the strongest, so if you get in my way again you becoming a statue will be the least of your worries, Izuku said with a menacing tone. All Might, you better not piss him off. If goes villain we might be screwed with the stoning ability by itself. Nezu thought as he looked at Izuku with interest. Well, that's the end, Skshenpai.